And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. Come on in. We're in week 47. So much to talk about. The virtual AP Leadership Academy. Come on in. Welcome, 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 welcome. So much to talk about. Come on in. Come on in. Tell me where you're coming from. Tell me how many weeks you've been here. Well, you may not know the exact count, but tell me if you've been with us for the full 47 weeks. Good morning. Good morning. Who we got here? Demetrius Scott's in the building. I missed some names. I was talking to you. Angel Long, Paula Caesar is in the building. Carolina, I missed that one. Where we got here? Oh, man, I missed it. Carolina Molina Robinson, Amir Tusher, Raquel Squall is in the building. Angel Long is in the building. We got a lot of people in here. We have Ayana, and I'm not even going to try to say your last name, in the building from Atlanta. Melissa Allison is in the building. Teresa Thacker is in the building. Principal Josh Tovar has checked in. He's in the building. Couldn't see you this morning, sir. Denise LaRosa out of Pittsburgh, PA is in the building. We got Christy Shorts in the building. Lita Joy Womack in the building. Oh, man. Shonda Moore, Corey Cohen, Tony McClenny, Melissa Allison. Let's see here. Where we at? Allison Geary is in the building. Vashawn Smith, Principal Smith is in the building. You got to check out his podcast, Engage Podcast, on Wednesday nights. Just go to Vashawn Smith. Check out his page and you'll see the podcast. I just did an interview with him this past week, so it's right there on his page. My page is all over the place. Check it out. William Bragg's in the building. Ryan Pelkey's in the building. Mrs. Yolanda McKinney is in the building. Checking in from Arkansas. Michael Griffin is here. Southfield. Kathy Smith, Maria Ramadan, I think it is. Stacy Lynn Moore's in the building. As you guys come in, do me a favor. Hit that share button. Let them know we're on 4 platforms this morning, as always. 2 Facebook pages. Facebook, my page, Facebook Virtual AP Leadership Academy. Twitter and YouTube at Virtual AP Leadership Academy. Let them know we got something special today. Tara Foster. Well, they all special. I like every last one of these sessions is special to me. Jennifer Bortvit Maps is in the building. Might be Mapes. Leah White's in the building. Evangelist Janita Washington is checked in. Superintendent Finch has checked in. Lana Nieves from Plainfield, New Jersey is in the building. We got folks all over. We got folks from out of state, in state, out of the country. Where's my first international on here? Charlena Hottie is in the building. Shannon Marshall's in the building. LaShonda Norman, Javon Johnson, they're in the building. Oh, wait a minute. LaShonda is where we at? Good morning interview coming up soon in Japan. Oh, man. International. Say we doing this thing big. Hit that share button for me, somebody. Hit that retweet button for me, somebody. Tammy Hinton, Venice Lewis is in the building. Kathy Dalmonte is in the building. That's Dalamonte. Tanya Pugh is in the building. Falk SLC is in the building. Anthony, where we at here? Russell is in the building. Rasul Wright. Keith Hinton, KY Hint, my brother, is in the building. Hit that share button for me, somebody. Hit that retweet. You know, I'm doing a different kind of presentation today, and some folks probably said, I don't need that one. I'm going to miss out on that one. He's just doing the virtual interview. Oh, man, that might be the reason you don't get that job, because you haven't mastered the camera. right? So I made a decision, but we'll talk about that once we get formal. It's just about 11 o'clock. Chrissy Mosby's in the building. Stacy Wetzel is in the building. Andrea Jennings checked in. Sheena Saw is here. Teacher Sandra 73 is in the building. But you know something? It's 11 o'clock. Some of you may have seen my post. You know, it's a busy day. I got another presentation right after this. So this definitely won't be going into 2 hours. So let me say to you first and foremost, formally to all of you, good morning, greetings, and welcome to the 47th edition of the Virtual Assistant Principal Leadership Academy. Oh man. 47 consecutive weeks. And I don't know about you. I don't know. But I can speculate just by the fact that you logged in this morning. But I don't know definitively, but I can speak on myself for a minute. You know, the way I feel right now, let me let you know I'm on fire. Woo! I don't think you heard me though. You know, I may not have said it loud enough. Maybe I need the neighbors to hear me. You know, I need folks to understand the significance, the potency of the fire, right? So let me let you know one more time. I'm on fire. Woo! Feeling good, y'all. Yeah, it's been a tough week in the world. Huh. Woo! A lot going on in this world. You can't sleep on it either. But you know something? Despite what's happening in the world, my flames, they're raging. I'm blazing. I'm on fire, right? And see, I'm saying to you, you chose leadership. I say it every Saturday. You chose this. Some might say I was called. You might say you were called to do it. Yeah, but you had to answer the call. Just because you were called doesn't mean you're going to be in this position. You got to answer the call. So because you answered the call, you got to be on fire. You got to be blazing if you're going to do this at a high level. I'm not saying you got to be charismatic, but I'm saying that energy, that excitement, that enthusiasm, it has got to be in place. Do you hear me? So make sure you keep that fire burning. I got my motivational message for you this morning. It's called You Must Adapt to Change. Once again, you must adapt to change. The one constant in our lives is change, right? So in other words, it's constant that change is going to occur. And I'm saying to you, you know, change can be difficult. You know, there have been situations where you were very content with your norm, and then bam, here comes change, and now you feeling a little disgruntled, you feeling frustrated, you feeling frazzled because this change has come into your space, this change has come into your life. Well, I'm saying to you, you got to expect change, but you got to adapt to change. So here, I'm doing a session today. As soon as I get past the preliminary part, my session today is going to focus on the virtual leadership interview. So the virtual school administrator interview, job interview. We weren't talking about a virtual interview last year. You get called in and you go on and sit in a room somewhere and engage in an interview. But look what has happened in a year. Most of us are having interviews on camera. Well, guess what? That's a different preparation. That is change. And you have to adapt to that change. I mean, myself, my life consisted of going to Newark Liberty International Airport and flying to my destination, speaking, and then going to the next destination, speaking, and then going to the next destination until my schedule was full and I was coming back home. Now look what's happening. 100% of the presentations are in front of this camera, sitting at this desk, in this chair, with this background. I had to adapt to my present situation. I'm saying to you, you must adapt to change. Because if you don't adapt, you're going to have problems. Let me see if I can quote Dr. Marcus Jackson right quick, because I see he checked in. He said, either innovate. Yeah, I got it, Doc. I got it. He said, either you're going to innovate or you're going to evaporate. Now, I'm not going to take credit for that. That is Dr. Marcus Jackson. Let me say it again in case you didn't hear it. He came up with this one. He said, either you're going to innovate or you're going to evaporate. That's what we mean by you must adapt to change, right? Let's move on. My word of the day / word of the week, it supports the message. And the word is anticipate, right? Anticipate. See, there's a lot just in the morning message and the word before I get to the morning lesson, right? So here, I'm saying you got to anticipate like challenges. You've got to anticipate obstacles. You've got to anticipate potholes, pitfalls. You got to anticipate it. I mean, you've got to anticipate that your homie might move in another direction. Your homie might disappoint you. Your homie might let you down, right? So I'm saying you got to anticipate whatever, because whatever can occur in your life, and you got to be ready for it. So here, I mean, I don't know that we could have anticipated a pandemic, but we could have anticipated that things would drastically change. See, so anticipating the best, anticipating the worst, and always being ready for whatever life has for us, right? Enough said. Let's go. Quick announcements. Those of you who may be new, usually I'm in my book, The Assistant Principal 50 or The Aspiring Principal 50, but this is interview season. And I needed to make sure that folks are ready for interviews, whether they be in person or virtual. So, but our overarching question for this entire 55-week academy, which we're in week 47, is, does my assistant principalship benefit my school academically? So it's all about, is there something about your leadership that your school is benefiting from, academically speaking? I'm not talking about just generically, and nor am I talking about in totality. I'm going to the core of why children are in the building in the first place, to learn. So I'm saying, is there something about the fact that you've been hired, that you're in place, that you're wearing that title, assistant principal, does it benefit your school academically? Those of you who are aspiring, I'm asking you the same thing. Is there something about you being in that position one day? Is there something about it that school will benefit from your presence, your talents, right? Your skill set? Got to be able to answer that question affirmatively, right? So that's the overarching question. This whole academy is centered around these two books, The Assistant Principal 50 and The Aspiring Principal 50. If you don't have them both, even if you're an assistant principal, the Aspiring Principal 50 is still for you. So if you don't have them both, get them both. If you got two devices handy, go to the other one right now. Go to Amazon and get them both. They both stay in the top 100 on Amazon. So I appreciate all of you for keeping them there, because that's who's doing it, right? So I appreciate all of you for keeping them in the top 100 ever since they were written. One in 2019, the other one in 2020. So get your book. Like and follow my Facebook page, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Virtual AP Leadership Academy, so that you don't miss out on anything. I think I've got it all out the way. Hit the share button. Let's get these numbers up. There's somebody that needs to be in here. Hit the share button. Hit the retweet button for me. I'm grateful every time you do it. So hit that for me, and let's get into it. My topic today. It's not a topic. I knew it wasn't a topic that was going to attract everybody, because everybody may not realize they need it. Or there could be many who are not doing virtual interviews. They're doing in person. So therefore, why do I need this? Right. But you never know. I watched the news, something I try not to do before I present, but I did watch it very much earlier to this morning. And they said that, even though the numbers are coming down, they're starting to plateau and perhaps on their way up because everybody wants to get back out with each other, right? So that may change the world. And now you're back to doing your interview virtually. So with that said, I'm calling this the virtual administrator job interview, right? The virtual administrator job interview, dot, dot, dot. It's a different preparation, right? See, like the past 2 weeks, we talked about the principal interview. Then we talked about, so you didn't get the job, now what? And I had no intentions on doing this one because I had it on YouTube already. I did it as a recording. I deleted it last week because folks were reaching out to me saying, could you talk about the virtual interview? Sending me inboxes. Can you talk about the virtual interview? And I'm saying, well, it's on YouTube. So then I went and I didn't look at it. I looked at the notes that I developed it from, and I said, I made that like a year ago and I got some other thoughts. So I deleted it, all 11,000 views. A lot of people wouldn't do that. And I said, I'm going to make a new one. Right. And that's going to be this that I'm doing live because I got more to say than I had in that one. Right. So with that said, I'm ready. I got these 5 thoughts I want you to think of before I get to the questions. I got 21 questions, but I'm not going long because I have a 12:30 presentation in Syracuse, New York. And I won't be there. It'll be right on this camera, but I got to prepare. So this won't be long. 21 questions. Kim Wilson Daniel is probably out there. I don't know. I didn't see her name yet, but she's probably out there. She didn't tell me she wasn't going to be. So you go to @KimWilsonDaniel for the notes on Twitter, @KimWilsonDaniel, or Facebook @Kimberly, L-Y, Wilson Daniel on Facebook. And of course, I go on and share them myself, right? So I got these 5 things I want you to think about, not just today, but just throughout the time you're going to be in what we're doing. Yeah, I just got reminded. Boston Royal Giants. Boston Royal Giants, not Boston Red Sox. Boston Royal Giants, Negro Leagues. This is their 1940 road jersey. They did play their home games at Fenway Park. I bet you there are folks that don't even know that. The Fenway Park, the historic stadium, home of the Boston Red Sox, well, the Boston Royal Giants, Negro League team, some of the greatest players ever played a game, but because they were born black, could not play in the major leagues. Imagine that, because they were born black, cannot play in the major leagues. Well, they played in the Negro Leagues, but this team was an independent team. So it played various different teams, and I'm just repping it today. Proud every time I put these jerseys on. So now let me get to my topic. The virtual administrator job interview is a different preparation. I said there are these 5 thoughts I want you to remember. Number 1, and this is not the questions. This is just me saying, keep this in mind. You've got to be at your best. When you do that virtual interview, just like when you do the on location interview, you've got to be at your best. Even on the computer, right? I mean, I mentioned this some weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again here in the context. I think about every day who I was as a speaker on a stage or on location versus who I've been over the past year on this computer. And it's a bitter pill to swallow. But I had to come to grips with this. I've come to the conclusion that I am better here than I am out on location, right? And I know why, but I don't have I don't have the context to go into all that explanation with you guys. But I'm saying this: all my old videos, I deleted them all. I had hundreds of videos on YouTube on different. I had 9 channels at one time. I deleted all them videos because how I spoke back then, the content was good, but how I spoke back then, how I delivered, is not how I deliver now on virtually. So I got embarrassed by seeing the old stuff. So it had thousands of views, those videos. I deleted all of them. They're gone. The only one that has access is me with the original, because I feel like I mastered using this platform. Well, I'm tying that into you. I'm saying to you, you've got to be at your best, even on a computer. You got to figure out how to use this, because here you are, you'll be miles away from the person interviewing you, but you got to come across as if you're sitting across the desk and you're that good, that powerful, that potent that the person wants to interview you. It's a bitter pill for me, but I am very comfortable in this space these days, right? So even on a computer, that's number one. Number two, you've got to be impressive. Even on a computer. Listen, whether you have a virtual interview coming up or it's later in the future, whatever it is, you have got to impress. You see, all you got is this square here, but you got to be impressive while you're in it. We're going to talk about all the in terms of how you do that as I get into this presentation. Number three, you've got to be in control of your environment, even on the computer. See, and when I wrote that one, this is interesting for me because when you're on location, you're not in control of the environment, and you don't have to be in control of the environment. That's, you walked into somebody else's space. What you're in control of is you in the interview. But here I'm saying with the virtual interview, it's not just about you and this computer. It's about you and the total environment in which you are engaging in that interview. And you have to have control of that. Now, of course, I'm going to break that down. So just keep that in mind right now. Control of your environment, even while on your computer. Number four, you've got to know, this is a big one here. I got to smile on this one. You've got to know how to work the camera, right? Now, I don't mean this, like working your I don't mean that, right? Like focusing it and all. I don't mean that. I mean, you know how in the field of modeling, and they say to the model, you have to know how to work the runway. Right. So you gotta know how to strut down that runway. You got to know how to work that runway, because you got people watching and so forth. Right. Well, and sometimes it's a competition. You got to know how to work that runway. Well, I'm saying to you, you got to know how to work that camera. See, because that's all you got. That's what separates you from the interviewer. So you got to know how to work it. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I'm going to use myself as an example because I'm the one that's presenting this morning. I figured out how to work this thing, man. I'm not sitting here like, you got to know how to work the camera. You got to bring the best you. You got to be impressed. No, you got to know how to use this camera. You got to know how to work this thing. Do you hear me? That matters because remember, you're not the only one that's interviewing. It might be 100 of you interviewing. It may be more than 100 of you interviewing. What about you's going to stand out? I mean, they don't even see the totality of you. They see your upper torso and your face and your hands, but you don't necessarily want to be going like me when you're doing that interview. That might scare somebody, right? But see, I could do it in an interview because that's just my personality, right? But you might not be able to. You gotta reflect on your own personality as you do that, right? So here, I'm saying to you, you got to work that camera. And then the last one, I said this last week, you've got to be thorough, you've got to be confident, you've got to be convincing, and you've got to be compelling. Let me say that again. I said it last week multiple times, but I'm going to say it again. You got to be thorough. You've got to be confident. You've got to be convincing, and you've got to be compelling, right? That's got to come across in the interview. So now I'm ready to jump into it. I just wanted to give you those 5 thoughts. Do me a favor, hit that share button. If you're in those groups, the principals groups, the Black Educators Rock groups, the teacher this and that groups, share to them folks. Right, they need to hit because somebody's not getting getting the job because they don't know how to interview virtually. Right, they may be good in person, but this is a different kind of technique. There's a science to this, right? So let's jump into it. Number 1, what will I wear? Woo! What will I wear? Now, someone could be thinking, well, Principal Kafele, I mean, it's like, if I was going in person, I'm going to wear the same clothes. Not necessarily. Let's talk about it. See, you want to, I mean, yes, dress professionally, right? I wear these for my presentations on Saturday morning, but I don't wear them when I do my paid events. I could, but I don't, right? I don't wear these. See, I'm saying there's a time and place for everything. So I want you to, I want for you to dress professionally. We understand that. But here's the little caveat. I know from doing virtual presentations and doing YouTube videos for the past, I've been doing YouTube videos for the past almost 10 years now, right? Here's the thing, maybe more than 10 years. Here's the thing about YouTube videos. When you're doing your, or here's the thing about videos, forget YouTube, just videos. Lighting, and when we talk about virtual presentations, your clothes affect the lighting. I have multiple cameras in this house because different cameras react to lighting differently. Different clothes react to the camera, which reacts to the lighting differently. So I was going to use a different camera this morning, but my jersey turned my complexion bluish. So y'all ain't thinking about it like that. My jersey turned my complexion bluish. So I switched cameras to this one that I knew wouldn't do that. Right? So I'm saying to you, you may have a certain outfit you want to wear, but then you put it on and with your lighting, which we're going to talk about lighting, by the way, then you put it on and now it's not projecting what you saw in your mirror, it's projecting something different. And I'm gonna read these comments later because somebody gets a big congratulations. I just don't know who it is yet. I'll read these later on. Oh, I see it. Edgar Ray. I was selected as AP Veteran Elementary School this week. Thank you, Principal Faye. Bang! See, that's what we doing here, man. Congratulations. Give him a virtual round of applause. Edgar Ray, right? So see, I'm saying to you, you got to consider that. So now if the lighting distorts your image, you got to have that backup outfit ready to put on. See, that matters. So what will you wear? So outside of that, because I'm going to get deeper into the lighting and so forth in a little while, but outside of that, you got to make sure that you got your best stuff. That you're wearing the outfit that's going to sell you for this position. What you wear matters. Don't think because you at home that I could dress down a little bit. No, you bet. Ladies, if you're gonna wear them heels to the interview and put them heels on for this, because and see, here's the other thing. There've been a few times, because most times I don't have the pants to go with the top. Y'all know how that works, right? In the summertime, I'll be sitting in here in shorts, right? And not, I don't slip up and get up like the people on TV we see sometimes. But there've been times that I almost did when I wanted to reach up on a higher shelf, and then I caught myself. Oh, they'll see what I got on, right? So you might have to get up for something, and you may not want to turn the camera off to do it. So the best thing to do is just have on your full outfit, right? What will I wear? Number 2, how will I look? Your overall appearance, right? There are times that I don't want to shave, my face here. And then I come on the camera and I say, oh man, every time I shift my head, they see all that gray right there. So now I know that. And depending on the audience and the magnitude of the presentation will dictate if I'm going to shave before I come on here, or if it's one I could pull off with the little grays coming in on the side of my face. So your overall appearance, you got to be cognizant of that because it's coming through on the camera. And if you got a good, strong camera like I'm using right now, they're going to see all that detail. So be very much cognizant of how you look, what you wear, and number 2, how you look on camera, because that could cost you the position because you don't look the way you need to look toward interviewing for this very important position, whether it be assistant principal or principal or whatever it is you may be interviewing for, right? Number three, this is big. What will the interviewer see on my screen? What will the interviewer see on my screen? My wife and I were talking about this the other day. I don't love having these curtains in my background, but they've been in my background for over a decade. This has been my spot, like for over a decade. Everybody that watches Principal Cafele, this is what they see. Bookcase change, but the curtain, this is what they see all the way to the back there of the room. So I'm kind of accustomed to it. But I'm saying to you, you have to consider what the interviewer will see. And you got to ask yourself, will my background land me this position? Will my background be a deterrent to me landing this position? Now, the background, of course, is your home, so it's probably very decent. But we're not talking about your perception. We're talking about the perception of the person that's watching. And that's what's always got to be considered, right? You remember last week I talked about, or a week or two ago, about tattoos. I'm not going to beat up on tattoos, but I am going to caution you that if you got something on your hands, something on your arms, and it's going to be a distraction, then you got to deal with that, right? See, I don't want to bring a distraction to an interview. I don't want something to distract the interviewer from hiring me because you lost sight of me and got caught up into some external things that I brought along with me. So in terms of you interviewing at home, your background is external. It's a part of you. So now you want to consider, what do they see, and thereby, do I need a virtual background? Right? Do I need to use a virtual background? You may need to use it. Hit that share button for me. Somebody hit that retweet. Somebody needs to hear this. Right? So the question was just asked, can we change to a virtual back? Absolutely. But don't change in the middle of the interview. You see, you want to thoroughly prepare. I'm going to talk about that though. So I don't even need to get ahead of myself. So that virtual background, but keep in mind, there are qualities of virtual backgrounds. Some of them are very weak and flimsy. I guess they don't have much pixelation. So as you move, you got all sorts of craziness happening with your head, with your hands, with your shoulders, your body as you move, right? Sometimes you could actually see through little cracks of what's behind you, right? I mean, that's not going to be an issue in terms of what they see because it's not a wide margin, but I'm saying it looks so flimsy. That's partly why I don't use it. But there are stronger, higher, just more what's the word I'm looking for? Resolution in the in the virtual background that you won't have that problem. And then of course some people they have those sheets where you have that behind you and that becomes your background, right? So think about what the background's going to be because you're not the only one in the screen. Whatever's in the screen with you is a part of who you are in the interview space. I cannot say that enough. What's in your screen is a part of who you are. I remember my wife and I both observed when I changed this bookcase, it's a whole lot of folks on this academy who were writing me acknowledging the change, right? Like, oh, I see you got a new bookcase. So see, that said to me, you didn't just see me. You saw my surroundings, right? My mother, who's on here right now, I shifted the angle one day. And she noticed that, right? She pointed it out to me in a phone call about 5 minutes after we finished. So people see your background. It becomes an extension of you. I just cannot overstate that, right? That virtual background. I told you that virtual interview is a different animal from your in-person interview. Let's go on. Number 4. How will I be positioned on my camera? Oh, man. Listen, I see people. I don't mean interviews. I mean, I just see people on Zoom calls, like when I'm on panels and so forth, doing panel discussions, and they might look like this here, right? So they in there, and I'm like, why? So they on the panel, and I see more of the room than I see them. Right. So it's like they peeping over the bottom boundary of the screen. You can't, don't do your interview like this. Because it's speaking, I mean, hear me, it's speaking about you. It's speaking about your understanding of technology. It's speaking to your understanding of doing a virtual presentation, which in today's world, virtual presentations are part of our lives now. So you don't want that, but you don't want this either. Right. So now, you're doing the interview and we don't see the top of your head. And in your case, not mine, but in your case, we might be talking about your hair. Right. So we don't want that. Right. We want you centered with a small, let me tell you how you do this. A small margin between the top of your head and the top of the frame. Right? Just a small margin. You don't want like you in the middle, and then you got a whole margin between the top of your head and the top of the frame, and then you want your torso in the camera. Right? So when I'm preparing for this presentation and the ones I do throughout the week, my regular PD, I'm always practicing in the camera in turn positioning myself in the camera before I go live. I want to make sure everything is straight, right? But there's more. So again, the question was number 4, how will I be positioned in the camera? I just did a vertical. Now here, let's do this. No, not over here. No, not over here. And while I got the lean going on, this not even in my notes. We ain't here now. We ain't chilling, right? we ain't cooling, right? So you got to make sure that you are sitting up straight, like my chair. I'm not sitting back right now. I'm sitting back. It's here now. My body and my head is on the chair. I ain't chilling in the interview. I'm here. My back's not touching this chair right now. My neck and head is not touching that headrest right now. Right? I'm sitting up straight. See, and I just got a small margin between the top of my head and the top of the frame there, right? Let me put it back where I had it, because I ain't even where I had it. There we go. See, so these are things. See, somebody might be sitting there thinking, man, I ain't thinking about all these things. Whoa. Yeah, that was that gangster lean, Michelle. You know. So I'm saying, some people, I thought I'm just thinking I'm gonna turn on the camera and we gonna let it rip. No, I got 21 things for you to think about. Let me hurry up, y'all, because I told you I got that presentation. So here we go. Number 5. What is an optimal brightness of your lighting? Oh man, y'all didn't think about that one. Your lighting. Like, look, watch this, y'all. Watch this. Yeah, now I made it a little dark. Matter of fact, that's not the one I want to do. Let me switch that up. Let's do this one. No, don't do this for don't do this for the interview, right? I mean, if you don't have good lighting, then get your family members to like put a flashlight in your face. I mean, put something, right? I got desk lamps here. Some of y'all may see the pictures that my son's taking. You see my son takes, and you might see the desk lamp. So I could turn the desk lamp up and put that in my face. I got professional lighting, but this is listen to me. This is unacceptable. What you see right now, this is unacceptable for the interview. You can't see me, right? And then if I turn it completely off, wrong one. Hang on. One more. Yeah, this is unacceptable, right? So you got to use your lighting. You got to use your lighting, and you see how that? See, you got me, man. You get so and this is not expensive stuff. This Amazon little cheap stuff, man. But it gives me a professional look. You want to look professional because you're trying to sell yourself. Your lighting. Listen, I got to put emphasis on this. Your lighting matters. Again, your lighting matters. And I'll say to a lesser extent, your camera matters. But see, the thing is, you could get a great camera for $30. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a camera. You can get a great camera for $30 on Amazon, right? So, but like if you have a MacBook Pro, let me use that as an example. In my older days, when like as I was saying to you before, when I was new to this, in the old days, I used the MacBook Pro camera. They don't make that camera for video streaming. It's like a camera that's just there. So those images were horrible, but I didn't know better. But then when the pandemic came and I started comparing, I'm like, wait a minute, I look inferior. And then I read up on it, and Mac said it themselves. We don't make this camera for streaming, right? We put the streaming camera on the phone, the iPhone, and the iPad, but not the MacBook Pro. I said, oh. Then I went and bought some new cameras. Oh, look at that. See, so I'm saying to you, it's the same thing. Your lighting matters. And if you can eliminate shadows, even better, right? But I got more to say about that lighting. We're gonna come to it though. Let me keep going. Number 7, where should I look? Someone might be saying, where should I look? Isn't that obvious in the camera? Nah. Where should I look? See, I have a bad habit, which I don't have a problem with, but I'm gonna share it with you though. Every now and then a client will say to me, when it's a high-powered conference and they want everything like perfect, right? They'll say to me, Kafele, could you like not look at yourself in the screen? This is when I do a recording. They say, could you look directly in the camera? And they'll say, here's how far they'll go. They'll say, would you put books under, because we're on a Zoom call, right? So they'll say, will you stack books under your computer and make your camera eye level? And please don't look at yourself, look in the camera. And in my mind, this is what's happening. I shouldn't be saying this publicly, but you know, when you're 60, you kind of just let it fly, right? I say to them, okay. And then when it's time to do it, I'm like, I ain't doing that. I ain't stacking my books on my computer on no books, man. I'm not looking at no camera. I'm looking at me to make sure that I'm moving the way I want to move. Because if I look up, I'm looking at the camera right now, but it's not eye level. But if I look at the camera, I don't see me. I see the camera. I see the lens. I want to see me. But I'm going to say to you in the interview that everything they told me, they're correct. Stack that your laptop on some books so that your camera is eye level. So that way it appears when you're interviewing, you are looking into the eyes of the interviewer, right? So don't do what I did and say, no, I ain't doing that. No, it matters. It's just that I'm not doing it, right? But it matters. So look into your camera, but if your camera is below eye level, then you're looking down, as I'm doing now. You gotta stack it on something, right? And then you look right into it. Let's keep moving. Number 8, how will I gauge my voice quality? I bet you it's not too many of you that thought about this one. How will I gauge my voice quality? You notice how you see a lot of people do podcasts and they got the microphone, like they look like they in the radio studio, and they got the big microphone right there, and they talking into the mic, and you might be thinking to yourself, why are they talking to a microphone? Like why do they have that big fat radio mic? Because a lot of speakers have them. Why do they have that big fat radio mic and they're talking into the mic when they could just do like most people do and just talk to us? And here's why. That mic changes the quality. I just choose not to use them. I refuse to be on this camera and have a mic in my camera and I'm talking to this mic. I just refuse. I know it'll give me better voice quality. But I'm saying to you, record yourself and listen to your own voice, right? So I'm talking about two things simultaneously. Your voice in its natural state, but your voice as it's recorded. Listen to both. And if you don't like what you hear in terms of how it sound over the recording, then you go into your settings and make some adjustments so that your voice quality is what you need it to be. And the reason I'm being so meticulous, so fastidious this morning is because you're competing and you've got to work this thing and you've got to be the best you. You've got to be impressive during that interview. So something as insignificant as one may deem as voice quality, no, it's significant. So make sure that you do that check. You know, the rappers used to say microphone check, right? 1 2 1 2. So you want to make sure that you do that, right? That's old school. Let's keep moving. Number 9. We getting there. I'm gonna go a little quick, y'all. I ain't spending all day on this. Number 9. How will I maintain? This is big, y'all. This is huge. I can't even give it to you without saying that it's huge first. How will I maintain peace and quiet during my interview? Remember when I said those big five I gave you at the beginning? I said you got to be in control of your environment. Well, this is where I'm at now. How will I maintain peace and quiet during my interview? Now, when I got something like really important, I have a fax machine over here, but I have it plugged in. So sometimes you guys hear it ring. But if it's something where I don't want that to ring, then I just disconnect it. No fax. Email. Sometimes I forget to turn off my Outlook. I didn't forget today though. So I don't have to worry about that chime during my interview. A fax ringing or what's the word I'm looking for? Or the email chime when the emails are coming in ringing, right? Or any other background noise. Like my phone is off right now, so that's not going to be a distraction. And the television, right? It's off. I don't compete with televisions and radios and other forms of music and entertainment, right? It's got to be about just you with no distraction. So how will you maintain peace and quiet relative to the electronics? That's number 9. But then number 10, how will I keep others in my home from being a distraction? Meaning children and whomever that could be a distraction. Now, one may be thinking, man, okay. But I'm gonna tell them that I have children here, and that could, okay, fine, that's fine. But I want you to remember this. If it appears you have no control over your children during your interview, what am I supposed to think when you're in a school with children who are not your biological children? What am I supposed to assume about you if you can't handle your own child running around, getting in the camera, that type of thing, making noise, having a temper tantrum, turning up the music? What does that leave me to believe about your leadership, leading a school of 2,000 young people, right? 1,000 young people, 500 young people, whatever it is. See, if I'm watching you and you get frazzled by it, and your child talks back to you, like, sit down, like, have a seat, shut up, mommy, that type of thing. Because I've never seen that in person, but I've seen it on TV, right? So now, and that happens, and your child embarrasses you, and then you turn red, right? And you on camera, got a good, because Principal Faye said get a good camera and good lighting, so I am live, right? And then they see that, you probably won't get that job unless that person has a real sense of humor. But see, what it is, it becomes, the interviewer gets to see you in real time. It's like you're modeling your leadership when your youngster jumps into the camera, right? Or does something that the noise gets into the interview. So you want to be in control. Remember I said being in control of your environment? Well, that matters. Right? So how will you be in control of your environment? How will I keep others in my home from being a distraction, such as children in the home or adults? It doesn't have to be children. Could be adults that don't really care about your interview, right? Depending on, how it is in your home. Every home is different. Hit that share button for me. Somebody hit that retweet button for me. Somebody. We're on number 11. What if the doorbell rings? I was doing an important keynote recently, and I had a package coming. And it was an important package. So the doorbell rang, but I knew it was going to ring. See, so before I started the keynote, I said to the audience and the client, look, the doorbell's going to ring in the middle of this keynote. It's an important package. I'm going to have to go answer the door. I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to the door. I'm going to get the package, and I will run right back in here and not miss a beat. So I told them. So now there was no surprise, like the doorbell rings and I panic. Oh my God, my package is out there. What if somebody steals it, right? Because, you got porch pirates, right? What am I? So now I'm distracted. So now I was able to prevent the distraction by just telling them up front, the doorbell's going to ring, right? So I have to go get it, right? So keep that in mind, right? Cynthia said, place a sign on the door. That's another thing. My problem here is those folks don't read those signs, Cynthia, right? That may work in some places, which I would certainly encourage others to do. But I know definitively they're not reading my signs. You know, my signs say don't pull on the doorknob, for example. They broke the doorknob, right? So I don't have a doorknob. I'll keep it. I don't have a doorknob on my front door, right? I got to stick my finger through a little hole and pull it because the storm door, because UPS guys and Prime and Amazon guys broke the doorknob. So in other words, it's locked. So they trying to, you know how that works. They shaking it and shaking it until it falls off. That's the third one they broke. So they're not reading the sign that says don't shake the doorknob. So I can't rely on a sign. I gotta pre-plan it, right? Enough said. Let me go on. No, I'm almost done. Number 12, am I proficient with the use of my technology and the platform being utilized? Oh man, now we getting heavy. Am I proficient, again, 12, with the use of my technology and the platform being utilized? So in other words, you familiar with Zoom, right? And then they decide to interview you on Microsoft Teams, which I loathe, or Google Meets, right? Or one of the others, and you don't know that one. So now you fumbling around. Mm-mm. When the interview is being set up, ask them, which platform will you be using? So that now you can go on that platform and practice, right? Not you trying to figure out, oh my God, where's the unmute button, right? Oh, where's the turn the camera on button? Oh my God, how do I share my screen? If you were going to share something, I don't know how to use this. And now you panicking, you sweating, no, you don't have to do that. We want you to interview. Are you available Tuesday at 4:00? Yes, I am. Thank you. By the way, which platform will you be using? Oh, we'll be using Google Meets. Okay, thank you. Done. Now you go practice. Learn that platform. Common sense, right? So, and Sheikah Houston, mine goes beyond hate for teams. It's like loathe, despise, right? It's horrible, but that's for another time, right? So make sure that you ask the question. So then the technology. Do you know your technology? So you got to know the platform, the technology, right? You got to know your stuff. See, that's why I said that virtual interview is so different from being on location. You don't have to worry about these things. You don't have to be concerned about these things. But for that virtual interview, because see, like myself and the principal Sheikah Houston talking about Microsoft Teams, man, it's garbage. I mean, I don't think what's the Microsoft guy name? I can't even think of his name right now. Gates, right? I don't think he'll lose any money by me saying that, right? But I mean, every client that uses that when I'm speaking, it's a problem, right? So therefore, and I know the software, I know the platform, but it's still a problem. So I'm saying to you, you may not know it or some other one. You got to make sure that you know it, right? So you got to practice. Let me keep moving. Number 13, have I practiced speaking into a camera? If you're not accustomed to doing a virtual video, a selfie video, a YouTube video, then practice speaking into a camera while someone asks you questions from another computer. Right? Just go on a virtual platform and start practicing, because everybody's not a natural in speaking into a camera. If you haven't done it, it's not as simple as just putting it on and you start talking. And also, those of you who are teachers who are interviewing for the AP position, it's not the same animal in terms of when you speak to your children in the classroom and you're speaking to an interviewer who's making a decision as whether or not you're going to get this important job, this high-paying job at that. So you got to practice so that ultimately you feel very comfortable in speaking to a camera, right? I'm almost done. Number 14, am I prepared like any other interview? And my explanation to that is, if you haven't watched video number 45 and 46, week 45 and 46, please do. Yeah, they're long, but please do. Because now we're breaking down the dynamics of the interview in 45. And then in 46, we're breaking down the dynamics of what to do if you didn't get the job. So watch number 45 and 46, and then come back and watch 47 again, today's lesson. Let me keep moving. Number 15. Am I accustomed to remembering and using names? So in other words, one thing that people love is to hear the usage of their name. And I'm saying to you, even in the virtual space, if it's a committee of people who are interviewing you and they say their name, either jot their name down, and in a lot of cases, you could write on the camera, you could write and no one even knows you're writing. Like I'm writing right now. You don't know I'm writing. Right? Pen in my hand. Here it is. Right? So see, jot them down. Right? So now you can use their name. You don't have to just answer the question. Like Dr. Smith says something to you. Dr. Smith asked you a question. Well, Dr. Smith, and then you go on and answer the question. But you said his name. That what that tells the people interviewing you is that you're listening. Because you're able to recall there's 10 people in the room at a table interviewing you. You see them all. And I don't mean, see, if it's Zoom and they have their individual boxes, then obviously their names are there. But they could be in a conference room. You don't see names. But if you write them down or just try to remember as many as you can and be able to say their names, man, that's going to score points for you. I promise you. Let me keep moving. I'm almost done. Number 16. Am I comfortable in the location I will be interviewing in? And what I mean by that, you're like whatever part of your home or wherever you are you comfortable in that spot? Because see, here's the thing. It's human nature. Someone could be very comfortable obviously comfortable around their family, but maybe not as comfortable doing something like this with the family sitting there watching you. I can remember, and I don't know if I've ever said this to my family, but my wife and son are sitting right here, literally they're right here. And I remember when I used to sneak away to do videos, right? I would not do them in their presence. Especially my wife's presence. I was too embarrassed, right? This is me many years ago. So I would wait for her to leave. And then she could tell you, right? She come on camera right now. I wait for her to leave to go somewhere. Then I would do the video. And then when she would walk back in, I said, I just finished doing a YouTube video. and the reason was because I didn't want her to see me because I was embarrassed. As much as I know her, my wife. But I was embarrassed about recording a video with her sitting in the same room. So there could be someone here watching this morning that, yeah, you saying something right now because I'm comfortable with my family, but I don't know about doing an interview and they're literally sitting right around me, right? So you got to make sure that you're in some place, some space that you are comfortable, that you don't have to feel that, feeling anxious that the family hears you and sees you and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're in a space where you can be at ease and you can engage in the interview. Right? Enough said. Let me go on. Number 17. Do I have a backup device ready to go? Have your phone. Matter of fact, let me just go with because I got something else to add to that. Do I have a backup device? See, let me tell you something, y'all. When I do these Saturday broadcasts, I'm already if the power goes out because I keep my phone right here. I use this service called StreamYard. I can still record. I can still stream out to my 4 platforms using the phone, right? So I got this, and then I can't hold it though. And if I place it down here, it'll be too low. So I got the phone holder nearby that I can just put right in, stick this inside, and I'm ready to go. I got a backup device. Then I got this sitting here. I got the iPad. Right. So I'm ready. So whatever contingencies, I'm ready. You got you've been working for this interview, and then on the day of the interview, like your interview's at 4 o'clock, at 3:55, your Wi-Fi goes out. At 3:55, there's a power outage. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? The phone, your backup. And not, I mean, see, remember that today's word of the day was anticipate. So anticipate the Wi-Fi might go down. Anticipate that you may have a power outage, a blackout. Anticipate it, right? So you already got this thing set up, right? You don't have to go through all, because see, you're gonna be nervous if it's not set up. Now you're, oh man, where's the page at? Oh man, where's the link? Where's the app? See, you don't have to do that. Have it already queued up. So it's queued up. Something go wrong. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. And then when you get on, then the people interviewing you, they're like, whoa. You be able to explain them. Yeah, I had a power outage, but I was already ready, man. I had my iPad, man. I had my phone. Then I got the desktop sitting here. We weren't going to be going away from each other for too long because I was ready. See, you got to be ready. That's what we said, anticipate. See, anticipate. So anticipate anything that could happen, but expect the best. Right? Those words are not synonymous. Right? Let's go. I'm almost done. They tell you I got to get out of here. Number 17, number 18. Am I plugged into a router? Huh. Someone said, man, he getting kind of deep with this stuff. Yeah. Because that Wi-Fi, you can start pixelating with that. Like when I do these Saturday, I'm plugged into a router. I'm not on Wi-Fi right now. I'm plugged into a router. I want the best connection possible. So no Wi-Fi for me. I use Wi-Fi, but not for this Saturday Academy because I'm recording these. They're going on YouTube. So these matter to me. So I'm plugged into a router. So you may want to get yourself a nice cable and plug into that router. Right? Make sure because you want to minimize any contingencies that could interfere with just a smooth flow of your interview, right? I'm almost done, y'all. Number 19, is my computer plugged in? Somebody said, come on, man, you can't be serious. Listen, you might have relied on your battery power and put your power adapter on the shelf. And then the interviewer is so impressed with you. Yeah, Michelle, Ethernet, exactly. Right. So now the interviewer is so impressed with you that the interview goes long, or the interview didn't start on time, but you're in the virtual platform. So now you're not even thinking about the battery, right? And if you have it on full screen, you can't see how much battery power you have left. If you don't have it on full screen, you can but if you're on full screen, you don't see your battery power. And the next thing you know, because you didn't think about it, your computer dies. Well, don't do your interview relying on battery power. Plug your computer in. I use the same adapter for my camera, for the router, and for the power of my computer, and use a different one for the lights. Right? So you want to have those adapters ready to go because this job matters. You've worked long for this. You've worked hard for this. You spent years getting ready for this moment. And now you forgot to plug in your computer, or your power went out. You don't have a backup device, right? Or the computer it crashed, whatever. And now you can't finish. Now you got to make a phone call. You can't get through. You panicking. Your day is shot, right? You can prevent all that. You got to have a contingency plan, right? Let's go. I'm almost done. Number 20 and number 21 are very easy. Number 20, am I prepared? Number 21, am I relaxed? See, say it again. I don't even have to elaborate. I've been doing it for 3 weeks now. Number 20, am I prepared? I mean, between video number 45, 46, and now 47. And let's not forget to go back. I don't know the number, but the one that was on the resume. Let's slay those bad resumes. And then another one I did called Prepping for the Principalship. So those, I guess, 5 videos. Oh, man, come on. Watch them. And then if you're interviewing for the assistant principalship, then don't forget to go all the way to the back of that channel, the Virtual AP Leadership Academy, and watch my videos, Thoughts to Consider for the Assistant Principal Job Interview, volumes 1 and 2. Right? So you check those out. So with that said, I'm done, folks. This is my last video on interviewing. Next week, I'm back in here. Let your friends know. Let your colleagues know we back in here next week, right? And we're going to also get back in here. So these two, if you don't have them, get them on Amazon. The Assistant Principal 50, the Aspiring Principal 50. You can get them right now. Get it out the way. They're inexpensive. Get them out the way. Get them right now. Right? And then so we'll be in chapter 5 next week. My parting question to you, it's just a question tied to what we've done. Have you been studying the interview videos? That's my parting question. Have you been studying the interview videos? Make sure that you like and follow my Facebook virtual page, Virtual AP Leadership Academy. Make sure you subscribe to Virtual AP Leadership Academy on YouTube. Make sure that you wear these masks. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet apart. Be careful about your diet. Get outside, either outside or in the gym, or if you got your gym in your home, use your gym in your home. Don't let that be like, your gym is what you hang the clothes on to dry, right? Like it became an extra towel rack, right? Or extra clothes rack. Make sure you use it if you have it, right? Because if you're not healthy, then your students can't use you anyway, right? So your staff can't benefit from you anyway. So make sure that you are taking care of self. So with that said, folks, I appreciate you checking in. Those of you that may be in Syracuse, I'll be on at 12:30, right? So with that said, have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. And look at that. We finished at 12 o'clock today. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. And then cock the fist back and count to 3 with me. 1, 2, 3. Bam! I see you guys next Saturday at 11 o'clock Eastern. I'll be ready to bring some fire from chapter 5. Read chapter 5. We started it, but we're going to finish it now. Read that. See you then.